All right, good afternoon, everybody. It's Thursday, the 1st of March, about 3:30. Welcome back to the garage. One sill down, one sill to go. So I'm going to skip the work that I still need to finish up over in this sill over here, is named the transition piece, and get to the other side and get that puppy in there, and then come back and tie up any loose ends. So that's really the only goal for the evening. I've got about 4.5 hours ahead of me here, so I'm pretty confident that I'll get there, but we'll see. Probably won't record as much this evening, just due to the fact that some of this is going to be redundant, but we'll see how it goes. All right, I want to correct a couple mistakes here that I had made previously. Passenger side valance, I got ahead of myself a little bit and got this thing up and started welding it in. And in hindsight, it was good. First, the holes that I punched for the spot weld, way too small. So I'm using 1/4 inch now. I don't remember what these were, but essentially what was happening was that the weld bead, or the weld metal, was filling in the hole too fast and I wasn't getting any penetration. And that was pointed out to me on the form and everything, so I'll have to repunch all that. So that was mistake number one. Along with that, I welded in the sill cap. I may want to take that off. I've got 2 plugs that down here that are holding on for dear life there. Hopefully I can break those away and just get that thing out of there. The other mistake that I made was welding up that seam there. I did not do this on the driver's side, and the problem with welding that up, I think, sorry I came out faded off camera there. The problem with welding it up is it doesn't allow any flex in the top of the sill. So you can see, I think, if I try to hold the camera straight, you can see as it falls, as it goes through that seam, because I put that seam in tight. So a great idea at the time, because why else would they not want that seam there to be tight? But in hindsight, that allows the flex. So I just put the thing up, I put the bonnet down, and I had almost no gap between the bottom of the bonnet and the top of the outer sill there. So what I'm going to do is I'll simply take the grinding wheel, or cutting wheel, excuse me, cut through those welds there, and liberate that seam, so to speak, and allow it to open up. I'll show you real quick on the driver's side. You can see that that's a pretty decent gap there, at least bigger than the passenger side, because I had them touching. So anyway, I'll open that back up. Hopefully that'll give me a little bit more wiggle room, and go from there. Initial fit's not too bad. I'm pretty happy so far, and hopefully this won't take too long to get this guy started and ready to weld. All right, it's about 5:15 or so, and I got fit on the sill. So I'm happy with where it is. I have to put the sill cap on yet, but what I'm going to do now is essentially prep the piece and get it ready to weld. All right, so I got the outer sill prepped, all the holes punched bigger, and tried to reuse the holes. Also have the sill cap ready to go. I punched 2 holes that are going to go into the bulkhead. We'll see how that works. I'm going to use sheet metal screws there as well. So now I'm waiting for it to dry. I'm going to grab a bite to eat here. But I wanted to say something that I kind of figured out today, and frankly it was kind of a no shit Sherlock moment. But the weld-through primer. So I was under the impression that weld-through primer was just that you were allowed to weld over it and it would withstand the heat and allow you to weld. That turns out that's not the case. And again, like I said, probably everybody has already kind of figured this out, but you know, being the first time going through this, I didn't know. Essentially what it does is it's galvanized, right? So there's zinc in there. So what the zinc allows is essentially a good ground in between your panel pieces. So you can put the ground tap of the welder into the piece that you're welding, or at least close to that piece, and then the galvanized paint will allow current flow. So it's not weld through as in you can strike an arc over top of it. It's weld through as in the ground will flow electrically and you'll complete the circuit and allow you to weld cleanly. So I just wanted to share that. I kind of shake my head a little bit that I didn't quite figure that out, because I am electrically trained for my profession, but there you go. So we'll get on it. Alright, so I got the end cap in here, got it clamped, and a bunch of plug weld holes ready to go, so I'm just going to go to tandem. Alright, so that guy's in. Alright folks, it's about 7:15 or so, and I got her set. Side went in easier, I wouldn't say much easier. Could be just because I had experience doing the other side, that's kind of my guess. But I'm happy with the way that it fits. This, I got a little bit of an extra rise here, but nothing too major. The gaps are good. Vertically, the gaps are good, and on the flat gap at the bottom, the gap is good there. So I'm happy and I'm ready to weld. So again, I got a couple set screws or sheet metal screws in the top because to keep this against the A-post, and then just a bunch of clamps along all the rest of it. I've drilled out some of the paint from the metal. I got to go in and get this metal off of here with the grinding or the air thing, but I'm not going to record for you because it's just redundant to the other side. Setup was the same, fitment was the same, so if you need to look at that again or you want to look again, I ask you to go back to the last video. So pretty excited. This is quite the milestone, so I'll check back in when I'm done. All right, it's about 8 o'clock. Unfortunately, can't weld without weld metal, and I ran out. I don't know if you can see there's no weld on the spool, but that's about all I got in me for tonight anyway, so relatively good timing. I got the sill in enough that it's there, so it's not going to move on me. Gaps are pretty good here between the bonnet and the sill, and this edge is good too. I'm happy with that. I took the door off for ease of welding, but that lined up pretty well also, so I'm happy. And that was about it. That's what I worked on. Took a little bit more time than I would have hoped. But you know, it takes as much time as it takes. The only problem I do foresee is, if you remember, I cut this back several months ago when I tried to weld this up the first time, and I lost that little rolled edge there, and I kind of forgot about it before I started welding the thing back in. So what's happening is the metal sinking down all the way to the flange, and it's you know, a difference in height there. So I'm not too sure what, if anything, I can do about that. I might try and sneak a piece of metal in there. But you know, you're just layers upon layers just asking for more rust, so I'm not even sure that I'm going to worry about it. But otherwise, pretty happy. So I started Calculus 2 this week, so I get to go home now and work on some of that. Real excited. Not really, but that is my last course that I need for my degree, so that'll be nice. And otherwise, I should be over here on Saturday for most of the day. We're getting a pretty nasty nor'easter, I guess, tomorrow and into Saturday, so hopefully I survive that and we don't get flooded out or anything. But otherwise, have a good rest of your week, and I hope to see you on Saturday. Cheers.